I still go to Mass, Catholic Mass. Yesterday's first reading just really hit me right between the eyes hard. And I had to develop a commentary, and here it is. I'll get to the reading in a second. But here's the question. What do we do? I'll say as Christians, all right, let's put it that way. What as anybody? What do we do in the face of this godless agenda of the left that we see all around us, everywhere around us now? Every institution is being attacked. Our families are being attacked, our children, governmental institutions, academic institutions, corporate institutions, religious institutions, you name it, Hollywood. It's Holy Week. It's Easter week. And today is Holy Monday. And I say it's time for our faith, whatever faith you had or once had. We celebrate this Sunday, we Christians, Christ being raised from the dead. It's time for our faith to be raised from the dead as well. In ourselves and in our society. So what can we do? So the first thing I say, restore your faith, turn to God, and pray. I've been praying for years now for God's will to be done. I know what is happening in our society is not God's will. You know, and remember, our national motto is "In God We Trust." So don't be ashamed. Now, that's going to be part of my commentary coming up here. Don't be ashamed to be God-fearing, to be religious, to trust in God. Stop it. Stand proudly, stand boldly. More on that, and that's what we're set our faces like Flint comes in, but more on that in a minute. I also then, not coincidentally, these things don't happen. I also had an email come across from a really interesting conservative columnist and media personality. I'd always agree with him. His name is Eric Woods Erickson. So the following commentary is going to be a little bit drawn from him, a little bit drawn from me, a little bit drawn from the reading of Isaiah that I heard yesterday. But I want to give credit and citations where due. But it's all going to be mishmashed and all that. And I'm not going to separate for you which one is which, but just know that those are the three sources this is coming from: me, the Isaiah reading from the Bible, and Eric Woods Erickson. So Christians like me, we believe that we can only be saved through faith. And I believe now that our country can only be saved by faith. I have said for 5 or 6 years that missing from our society are two things that used to hold the left and the right together: love of country and trust in God. The left has neither anymore. The left does not have love of country. They have love of country for what they want to make it out to be, to fundamentally change it, as Barack Obama said. And we know they don't have trust in God. They have trust in government. They have trust in totalitarians. Faith can save us. Faith must come back to save our country. But we have to do more than just faith. We have to express it in our works and our daily works. You know, going back to Holy Monday, the original Holy Monday, the day after Jesus entered Jerusalem, if you recall, he entered Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, which here was yesterday. We're talking on a Monday now. He was hungry. He had gone to the town of Bethany. He was hungry. And on the way back into Jerusalem, he saw a fig tree on the side of the road. He got up closer and he found there were no figs. There were leaves on the tree, but no figs. Now, he said, in Bible quotes, that Jesus said at that point, "May no fruit ever come from you again." And apparently, I'm not sure if it happened right on the spot, but at once pretty much that fig tree withered and died. Now, the reason he did that, most fig trees produce their fruit before the leaves come. So when you see leaves on a fig tree, it's usually safe to assume that there are figs, that there's fruit on the tree. So what looked like a fruit-bearing tree from far away because of the leaves, in reality was non-productive. It was barren. It was a fruit-bearing sham. Leaves without fruit, appearance without substance. So the question for us, and I hope you don't mind me going biblical. Look, let me say this first. I have tremendous faith as a Christian. I have my doubts about religious institutions, including my religious institution, the Catholic Church. Unforgivable sins it's committed, or the people who run it have committed in recent decades. I don't have to go through those. But I do believe that faith in God and prayer are important, regardless of your religion. There are powers bigger, stronger than us, and we must have something to believe in other than government. The left does not. The left believes in government. We believe in God. So the question for us, going back to the fig tree analogy, is in our personal lives, are we so concerned about having leaves, our appearance, just to look good to others, to go along with the crowd, to be politically correct, to enable us around us to live out and live out their pretend and false and godless delusions? Do we just enable them, turn a blind eye, maybe even, okay, whatever you say, just to make ourselves look good to the woke left and to the social media goons? Are we just about leaves, or are we about productive fruit in the image of God? Substance. By setting, again, what I will call, in my belief, a Christ-like example, and by challenging this evil. This is evil. You've heard me say it before. This is evil, what is going on. Mutilating children emotionally, physically, hormonally. It's mutilation. It's child abuse. School systems, adults, government, the media, pushing this stuff. It's evil. So do we worry about appearance and enable it and let it happen, or do we challenge this evil everywhere we see it? Now, you can confront evil. You can confront these false notions, these destructive lifestyles, these divisive teachings. And we can become ourselves fruit-bearing examples of what a real child of God should be. We don't have to be violent. We don't even have to be rude about it. You just have to be firm and resolute. But I want you to be warned, and this is where the saying comes in. If and when you do agree to set your Christ-like or God-like example, whoever your God is, and you stand up to this evil, you stand up to these false and divisive notions of the left that are being put upon us right now, you will be attacked. You will be vilified. You will be digitally crucified on social media. You will be. This is how the cancel culture left works. And you must be ready for that. You must accept that and be ready for it. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It's no big deal. Since I became head of the Rhode Island Center for Freedom and Prosperity about 12 years ago, I was warned that this is not a job. Defending freedom, standing up to the left is not a job for the meek. And the quote they gave me, that I must be ready to take arrows in defense of freedom. And I say that all the time. That's my job, to take the arrows in defense of freedom. In other words, I know that I'm going to get attacked. I know that I'm going to get vilified, but I don't care. They don't hurt. They're fake arrows. So today I give you a similar, if not a more biblical warning. If you do truly want to become a fruit-bearing defender of liberty and not just a leaf that floats whichever way the wind is blowing, you must, like Isaiah said in Isaiah 50, you must set your face like flint. In that passage, he prophesizes the resolute nature of Jesus to face the cross, and obtain the glory set before him, the prize at the end of the road, but the difficult journey to get there. And I think I'm quoting directly when it says, for the Lord, Isaiah said this, for the Lord God helps me, therefore I am not disgraced. Therefore I have set my face like flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. The left tries to shame you and me for our faith. Do not let it happen. Indeed, take the arrows, wear them like a badge of honor. Expect the arrows. Do not be discouraged. Expect the criticism. Hold firm to your belief. Never be ashamed for standing for the truth and for God's will, God's true light. Never be ashamed. Never let them make you feel belittled. In verse 7 of that passage of Isaiah 50, Isaiah expresses his complete confidence in God, declaring that he will not shrink back from his mission, despite any suffering, opposition, or humiliation he might get. And again, the quote, because the sovereign Lord helps me, I will not be disgraced. Therefore, I have set my face like flint, and I know I will not be put to shame. Any shame you feel is self-inflicted. Flint is a very hard rock, often used in the Bible to represent firmness or rigidity, as in the firmness of the horse's hoofs in Isaiah, the toughness of an impossible task in Deuteronomy, the inflexibility of unwavering determination. Flint is used in all those examples, in this last one in Ezekiel. So while setting your face like flint is a figure of speech, the prophet used it, and you should think of it, to describe the unwavering determination it takes to persevere in the difficult task and mission ahead of us. Christ's mission, the passion was clear. He knew what was coming, but yet he set his face like flint. He would endure tremendous humiliation. Isaiah foretold of that 800 years prior. But we must not hide from mocking and spitting when we stand in God's truth. The crosses we bear, the arrows we might take in our contemporary society are nothing compared to what Christ endured over 2,000 years ago. But our commitment, yours and mine, our commitment to faith should be no less determined. In the face of this false agenda, these false religions of climate change, of transgenderism, of identity politics, of the left's cancel culture, communist-style economic sacrifice, and yes, even Satanism that we see out there, we too must set our faces like flint and stand for what we know are our own truths, God's truth. And we must challenge these godless, false idols wherever and whenever we encounter them. Not with malice or violence, like I said earlier, but with stoic and unyielding resoluteness in proclaiming the truth, by shining the light of God into this dangerous darkness that is being put upon us by the radical left. Do not fall for their ruse of trying to make you feel ashamed. Do not fall for their ruse of them trying to manipulate you into saying, oh, well, you need to respect my beliefs, their false beliefs, and in doing so, betray your own beliefs. Never compromise your own beliefs, never. Why should their delusions matter more than the truth and your own dignity? You have to live with yourself. You can't say yes, turn a blind eye and say, okay, yeah, you can pretend you're a woman, or you can pretend you're a man, or you can pretend the earth's going to be incinerated in 3 years. I encounter it in my own family, and they're conservative, but they've just, everybody gets into the habit of appeasing the left. No. Set your face like Flint, stand up to it calmly, methodically, and relentlessly, without malice, without violence, push back. If anybody should be ashamed, it's them, because they do not stand for truth. They certainly do not stand for God's truth. They do not stand for common sense. And in many cases, they do not stand for reality. Now, I'm not sure. Certainly no violence, certainly no malice, but again, I'll leave it up to you. But if anybody should feel ashamed, it's them. But the media is the one who tries to make us feel ashamed. Politicians, the government, the totalitarians. We need to reverse it. We need to reverse it, folks. Again, you don't have, if you don't like making people feel shameful, that's fine. But at least stand up and profess what you know to be true. Don't be a vapid, socially good-looking but barren leaf. To continue and to finish the analogy. It's time for each of us to stand firm with faces set like flint and to become fruit-bearing, truth-wielding children of the God in which we say we profess our trust. Because if our nation's motto, "In God we trust," is going to have any real meaning in our lives and in our society, like Isaiah, we actually must then place our trust in God.